all this week has been very, very interesting in the gaming world. Obviously, on Monday was supposed to be NBA 2K Day. So I know a lot of people who are in the 2K community, they get sent out to NBA 2K Community Day, and they get to try out the game, and then they do countless videos on their builds and whatnot, blah 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 blah. So shout out to like Dooms and D Man. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to Dom as well. I know the Dom got to go. A lot of people got to go to that. So shout out to them. I ain't hating on now. But it was supposed to be NBA 2K Day, but obviously on Monday, what overshadowed the 2K news was GTA 6 leaks. GTA 6 leaks, which yeah, everybody was like, what the heck is going on? Like, I don't know what's happening. So obviously, I'm not going to post anything. Because I'm not trying to get strike down. If you have not seen any of the leaks, please go, find it yourself. If you are interested, go find it yourself if you are interested. But some of the first leaks that came out on Monday were old stuff. They were old stuff. Like the one with Jason playing basketball. That was old. I saw that one years ago. So again, that one didn't impress me. It was also another one where you can clearly see like I don't know exactly what it's called in like tech terms, but you can see like all the lines and everything, which clearly shows you that it was clearly like super early, like development alpha, even pre-alpha footage of Jason and like him looking around and stuff. So again, none of that stuff really was anything to talk about, and I thought that was honestly going to be it. But then more leaks came, and then a person or a group, we still don't know if this is a person or a group, but he, she, they, or them go by the name of Cyberleek, and they have been pretty much causing havoc all week. Because they clearly weren't done. So they showed some early stuff, and then they just started showing more and more things. Like, for example, them flying a plane. They showed them driving a car around. They showed them getting into fights with people. They pulled out a knife and started just killing NPCs and running into security and hitting them with tasers and stuff. So it was interesting to say the least. And then a lot of people were like, well, just excuses started coming out the woodwork. The excuses literally started coming out the woodwork with everybody. Some people were saying, oh, this is AI footage. Some people were saying, oh, this is early footage. Like, why should I be impressed for this? Like, what are you doing? This is stupid. But then as more and more leaks started to come, there was an interesting clip that showed the group or person actually shooting a gun and actually spelling out the word leak to prove that, hey, like, this is an actual build that I have. This is updated footage. Like, I am playing the game right now. And we even got to a point where allegedly, the game was uploaded onto the internet. So we've gone pretty far from just, oh, you're showing early footage from like 2022, 2021 to, all right, well, this may be 2024, 2025 to now. All right, you might actually have the game. Like, you have at least an up-to-date version of the game that this person is actually playing. Okay. It even got to the point where the person allegedly said that they beat the game, and they gave the game a 9 out of 10. They actually rated the game and said it's a 9 out of 10. So like, we're literally at that point now, y'all. They like showed the end credits screen, like a still of the end credit screen, and said, hey, like, I beat the game. This is a 9 out of 10. So like, we're at that point now. So it looks more like GTA to me, but you don't have high expectations, which is in general, yeah, we gonna get on that, because there's a lot of those opinions going around too. GTA 6 more like GTA. Wow, what else, Scott? So yeah, so this is where we're at now. So Cyberleek, obviously people are trying to find out who this person or group is. There's been a lot of things going on with this entity. We're gonna call Cyberleek an entity, because again, we don't know if it's a group or a singular person that's doing this. So some of the things that you need to know. Some of the things you need to know is Cyberleek claims that they are doing this because they're trying to go against the corporations. Now, you know, especially this year, but it's been going further than that. For me personally, I have been like super duper anti-corporation, because like what I'm seeing in the video game industry is just not where I would like for it to be. I want it to be more about like actually having quality games and games that are like passion projects, games that mean something, and not all of these situations where, oh my god, we're playing the same game 5+ years in a row, we're getting the same annual games, and anytime that a game falls below expectations, then that studio gets fired or that game gets shut down. And then of course all of the people who are on the board end up getting bonuses because of their tremendous work. Right, obviously being sarcastic there, but yeah, I just don't like the way that the video game industry is right now. I don't like to say the video game industry, and again, people that I know personally have been laid off of their positions, and again, like even if I didn't know these people, I would still feel the exact same way. I just don't like where we're at right now. Okay, I don't like where we're at right now. So I've been super anti-corporation. I've been really anti-Rockstar because of how they have been behaving and how they have been treating this entire rollout. Like Strauss is, yeah, Take-Two, they're rubbing me the wrong way. For real. So I've been super anti-corporation, but Cyberleek also claims to be anti-corporation, and they posted what people are calling a manifesto, but they have commandments. Okay, they posted some commandments. Commandment number 1, they said, is no consumer shall pay for a game through digital storefront before release and independent review. Physical pre-orders for tangible media remain permitted. Pre-orders were not created for gamers. They were created because physical discs had manufacturing limits. In digital distribution, there is no inventory. There is no stock shortage. Digital copy cannot sell out, which again, I've told you all a million times. Why are you pre-ordering something that doesn't sell out? Like, there's no point of you pre-ordering something months in advance, especially if you have seen nothing from the video game yet. I just feel like that is a bad choice. Okay, now if you see the game, okay, and you still want to pre-order it, fine, but technically you don't need to pre-order anything, especially if you want to get it digital, until like the day of or the day before. You don't need to. I've said it a million times, the only reason why I pre-order anything, and again, that's rare because a lot of times I get games early anyways now, because again, you know, perks, we love perks over here. But if I ever have to buy a game, which I hope again remains rare, but when I do buy a game, especially on PC, if I get on PC, I'm only pre-ordering again the day before or the day of, only so that I can preload it. That's the only reason or benefit for me. Now, if there are some pre-order perks, which they still do, it's again purely digital now. So again, you can get those the day before, the day of. They don't really like go away. Okay, and the pre-order bonuses for a lot of this stuff is pretty minuscule anyways. It doesn't mean anything to me. Those actual pre-order bonuses that may, and again, I use that term loosely, but may end up, you know, having some extra things that I may or may not care about, or like in deluxe editions. And I don't buy deluxe editions, because what's the point? I'm getting the regular edition. I don't care about this stuff. So again, pre-ordering for me makes no sense. If you're getting physical games, yeah, physical games can and have in the past ran out, and then you got to wait for more of those orders to come in, because retailers only get a certain amount. They choose how, you know, whatever amount that they predict they're going to get. And then, you know, in the olden days with the GameStops and stuff, you pre-order with them, and then they will reserve the copy for you, and then you either go to a midnight release or you go the next day, and then you pick up your physical copy. But those days are pretty much long gone. So why are you pre-ordering digital stuff? If this is what you all care about, you say, oh, I don't care about physical games anymore, why are you still under this mindset that you still have to pre-order stuff? So so it makes you glad, you know, like the golden era, instead of having a balance. Never got that back in the industry. It's had a good range. Yeah. So to continue their commandment, they said there is no stock shortage. The digital copy cannot sell out. Your publishers kept their pre-order system and stripped away its only consumer benefit. Now gamers pay early and receive nothing in return except a countdown timer and a cosmetic skin. If publishers want revenue before launch, they can press discs, print boxes, put them on shelves, earn that money through physical production. So again, hearing this stuff, I'm like, okay, maybe this is the savior who is going to come through. The hero that we never expected, but it's come through at a perfect time. And it's like, hey, I'm going to be the one that puts my freedom out there and goes after one of the biggest corporations ever that we have, which is Rockstar and Take-Two. So I was like, okay, like, this may not be the exact measure that I would take, but I'm not exactly upset at someone or some entity like Cyberleek coming through and deciding to do this. Okay, so that was my initial thoughts. So as we continued on, people noticed that in all the clips they had a little, what do you want to call it? What do we want to call it? It was a lower third or something with the QR code, and it said buy Cyberleek, buy my coin. So I was like, oh man, like you had the chance, you had the opportunity, but now like you kind of ruined it, because while you put these commandments here and you're claiming that you're for the people and you don't like the way that the video game industry is right now, and you're trying to be anti-corporation, you're also trying to sell a coin. So I was like, man, can I fully support this? No. Am I still on your side because I'm ready to go after the corporations and I don't like the way that they're behaving? Yeah, I'm still on that type of time. There could be multiple things wrong. I don't understand why we're still on this mindset that you have to be like on one side or the other. All right. You don't have to be on one side or the other. You can be like, okay, both sides are wrong. I get both sides. And you cannot like something that both sides are doing. Okay. While do I want things to be spoiled for someone that put their hard work on the line, after especially 13 years? No, not necessarily. If it was another company that, again, is a smaller company that took even less time and didn't really deserve it, then yeah, I would totally empathize with that company or that studio. But this is Rockstar we're talking about. This is Take-Two we're talking about. I don't have any sympathy for them. I don't have any sympathy for them at all. So in my mind, I'm still like, F it. Like, go ahead, keep doing what you're doing. But do I like that they're trying to get a quick buck and get some clout and try to pump up this meme coin? No. Okay. So again, I know that some people who have been arguing with me purely on Twitter or X, and they're not listening to the podcast and they're not coming through on the live stream, which you should, actually tap in, because now that I'm speaking directly, maybe I could get my point across better. But I've been on the same type of time for a while now. Things have not changed with me. So if you're just going off the tweets, hey, have at it, man. Have at it. But I need y'all to tap in, man, because this is getting to a point where it's like, all right, I'm not changing my saying. This is what I've been saying for a while. So for all the people who just don't know and are just coming through just to be mad or say that I'm mad, like, it's a little weird, man. It's a little weird. So as we continue here, I continue to talk about what type of clips that Cyberleek ended up releasing. But they also said, along with the pre-order situation, they said that they were also going after Take-Two and Rockstar because of the physical games that were dying. So that was another thing that they put as a point here as to why they're doing what they're doing. Other than that, it was another statement, like, which is supposed to be like a final statement. It's supposed to be like a final statement. I'm seeing if there's anything else here. I don't think that there is, but obviously, like I said, there were imposters came through. There were people who were posting like AI GTA 6 leaks and trying to pose it as real. They weren't real. So everybody's trying to get an opportunity. Everybody's trying to get an opportunity, man. Everybody. You said my YouTube app looks like Ethos. I say a little bit. It wasn't made by me though. It wasn't made by me. That was pretty old. So yeah. So we get to this final word. We get to this final word. Shout out to DJ Skittles for the 3 months. Appreciate you. So this final word from Cyberleek, they said that these 3 commandments are the floor, not the ceiling of what is acceptable. If publishers violate them, they will be targeted. So they're saying that they're not going after just Rockstar. They're not going after just Take-Two. They're going after all the corporations if you do not follow these commandments. It says Cyberleek will continue to disrupt these operations until they issue a public statement and apology with a concrete commitment to fix the harm that they cause. No private negotiations, no quiet settlements. The public sees it or the leaks do not stop. Publishers should beware. If Cyberleek can reach Rockstar, no one is safe. This is a message to all big corpos. Behave or be the next target. This is a Cyberleek edict, and it is non-negotiable. So this is apparently their final word. Okay, so we'll see if anything else comes out from this entity, but right now this is the final word. I don't know if the leaks will continue or if they will stop. I don't know how far they will go, but they're going to keep egging people on. They're going to keep trying to get people to buy into crypto, which again, I had some people talking to me today and they were like, "Well, so do you think that people like being scammed?" And my response to that was, well, it's 2026. If you are willingly buying into a crypto, a meme coin in 2026, then yeah, you probably do like being scammed. You probably do like being lied to. Oh my God. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Right? You're like, oh my God, this coin gonna be the next big thing. No, it's not. It's a pump and dump. All of them are pump and dumps, okay? All of them are pump and dumps. So if you're actively and willingly participating in that, then you're the dummy. All right? You're the dummy. It's not the person who started it. It's you. Because how many pump and dump scams have we been through? How many people have CoffeeZilla reported on that have done these things? I mean, I can't help you. I can't help you at this point. You're a dummy. So what else do you want me to do? What else do you want me to do? Again, do I agree with them having a meme coin? No, because that is, again, beyond the point. If you say that you are for the people and you're trying to be anti-corporation, then I don't know why you're trying to do a meme coin pump and dump scam. That's wrong, and that's weird. That makes me feel like maybe you're just trying to say what you feel like the gamers want to hear, what you feel like the gamers want to see, but you're not really about that life. So I don't know. I don't know where morally this entity stands. I'm not here to try to dissect or try to figure it out. I can only go off of what I've seen. Ultimately, like, again, I've said it, it's Rockstar, Take-Two. I don't care. I've seen some people online that are like, oh my goodness, look what they're doing to Rockstar. I'm gonna help them find this entity. I'm gonna help them. So I said a bunch of things. So initially on Monday, actually no, this was yesterday. I said, so after seeing all the potentially up-to-date GTA 6 leak footage, I'm like, are y'all still in belief that the game looks like something that's pushing the needle in innovation? I said I was watching Jason going around slicing NPCs up, and I'm like, this doesn't look exciting. It just didn't look exciting to me. It looked just like GTA. It looked just like GTA. And I was met with mixed opinions. I was met with mixed opinions. So some people were like, yeah, it doesn't look impressive to me. But a lot of people were like, oh, what are you expecting here? What are you expecting here? It's GTA. It's GTA. But didn't y'all just tell me like months ago that this game will be innovative? This game will push the needle. This game will do numbers. This game, even I still go back to this dumb person. This game will spawn a bunch of content creators who will be millionaires. You what? Mega! That's what y'all said, not me. That's what y'all said, because in my mind, I'm already expecting this to be just GTA in Miami again. I'm not expecting anything innovative. Like, we've talked about this years ago. I mean, we talked about this when the leaks first happened back in like 2022, 2023. Okay. I didn't see anything that was like, oh my God, this game is going to just like be leaps and bounds from GTA 5. Now, what I am expecting is something. I'm expecting you to show me something that's different. Okay. Because 13 years is a very long time. So if you're just going to give me the same package thing from GTA 5, it just call it GTA 6. It just have a different story and different main, protagonist. Then that's not something that would be in my demographic anymore. I'm not trying to play that necessarily. Okay, I'm not trying to play it necessarily. But it seemed like some of y'all actually are okay with that. Some of y'all are not just content with it. Some of y'all are actually okay with it and are expecting this. This is your expectation. These are your expectations. Okay. And I find that weird. Because after 13 years, I'm sorry, I would be, as a fan and consumer, I would be expecting something a little bit more. I would not be expecting the same thing just in Miami. But am I off on that? I don't know. A lot of things that I have, I feel like are more from a logical, grounded standpoint when I say things. But everybody else on the internet seems to think that I'm the dumb one. I'm the one who's popping Tylenol. And I'm like, again, I must be on Earth too, because I just don't understand. I really don't understand. I just don't understand. Like, again, people they're like, up to date, man. The footage is like 2025, man. Game from 2025. Let me ask y'all something. From 2024, 2025 to now, do y'all really think that this game, like from what we saw, again, let's just play devil's advocate. Let's just pretend that, yeah, all right, this footage was from 2024, 2025 of whatever build. Do y'all really think that in 1 to 2 years that this game will look significantly different from again a year or 2 years ago? No, it's not. Now, if we're talking 3 to 5, 5 to 7, yeah, it could. But again, we're talking 13 years total. 13 years total, okay? 13 years when they could have, again, they've already started pretty much once GTA 5 came out. I'm pretty sure they started GTA 6 already. They could have been put out something within, that typical, which again is pretty long for a GTA game, but 3 to 5 years, or at the max like 7 years. Would normally, again, it wouldn't take that long because Rockstar Games has a pretty, for what we saw historically, they've had a pretty short cadence for bringing out GTA games. And when we looked it up, I was like, yeah, man, like they were coming out with games like every 2 years, 3 years. So this has been, again, the longest that they've ever taken to come out with a successor. 13 years, man. Again, I would expect something different, but apparently I'm in the minority. I'm in the minority, man. I'm in the minority. So I continue. I say, here's the thing they had the extra confused, which we just kind of went over. I say gamers are bashing Wolverine for looking generic and unoriginal, but in the same breath, y'all are okay with GTA 6 if y'all get the same thing as GTA 5. I was like, and then others are expecting GTA 6 to push a needle. I was like, man, y'all opinions are all over the place, which again tells me that gamers don't know what the F they want. Y'all don't know what y'all want, man. Y'all really don't know what y'all want. And this is, again, what confuses me a lot about gamer discourse, because everybody has something to say, but a lot of stuff that y'all be saying is, again, copying this person, copying that person. It's sounding very pro corporation. Sounded very, very, very pro corporation. You don't know what's going on in the game industry. You don't care about what's going on in the game industry. You just want to play your video game, which again is fine, but you're also on the internet. You're also on the internet saying your opinion to everybody. So if this is all that you want to do is just play your game, fine. But you don't have to join into every conversation and try to have an opinion on it, because apparently y'all opinions are very strong. Apparently y'all opinions are very strong about this one video game and about this corporation. What up, Mark? What up? What up? What up? So I don't know, man. I don't know. I was like, y'all opinions are all over the place. And then I said, the way that people are bending over for Rockstar right now, I was like, overdue doing a crypto. What up, Jericho? Overdue doing a crypto scam. I was like, it sounds very similar to Drake versus UMG. Y'all remember that whole discourse? I was like, but this is in reverse, because I remember y'all were talking about, oh, Drake is fighting for the people. Drake is fighting for the people. How dare y'all be for UMG? How dare y'all say, oh, I want UMG to win because Drake started crying and then wanted to sue them. It was like, oh, yeah, Drake for the people, Drake for the people. He not doing this for him. He doing this for the music industry. Oh, yeah, what happened with that? Because I want to know.
Oh, my God.
What happened with that? He lost. He tried to appeal. It ain't going nowhere, and then he turned around and now he getting sued. You know, being in bed with Steak, him and DJ Academics, and now they saying that that Rock Nation is behind it. So I don't know where that went. And I said it before. I was like, I'm not for UMG. I was like, man, forget UMG. I don't care about them. Like, all of them are predatory. All of them are predatory. But what I didn't like in that Drake situation was he cried and then he sued. I was like, you don't cry because you lost a rap battle and then go sue. And then say that, oh, it was botting or UMG was trying to set you up. That's what I didn't like. Okay? So no, I wasn't rooting for Drake. But I also wasn't rooting for UMG. I just thought it was dumb to sue over that. So I was like, well, this is in reverse, man, because I was like, in Rockstar's case, I was like, y'all don't like the dude leaking the game because of the scam. I was like, is that really the reason? So if he didn't post a crypto scam, would y'all be okay with it? Because it sounds like y'all still wouldn't. Some of y'all still wouldn't. They were like, oh my God, man, he's ruining the Netflix thing. Oh, what does that have to do with you? What does that have to do with you, random person? It should have nothing to do with you. Do you work for Rockstar? No, none of y'all work for Rockstar. None of y'all work for Rockstar. So why does this person potentially showing these leaks ruin things for you? Okay? They're not even like 4K footage. It's footage, yeah, but they're just like little clips. And even still, they ain't doing nothing for me, personally. And I don't know if it's really doing it for anyone else. So wait on the Netflix. We got 6 days now at this point. We got 6 days. It's gonna show up on Netflix, and then you'll see it on YouTube, or you'll see it on social media before then. So just wait on it, and then that's it. Okay? These leaks shouldn't do anything for you then. Just ignore them. Act like they don't exist. But again, the curious mind wants to be a part of the conversation. The curious mind wants to look at the leaks because they're fiending. They want to see it. They're saying that they don't, but the human mind just gravitates towards seeing what you're not supposed to and being a part what you're not supposed to. I get it. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. Okay? Once you admit it, you know, the quicker you admit it, the quicker we can move past it. But that's exactly what's going on. He said with all the gaming news, GTA 6 leak, will it be another long-winded conversation? We'll see. I really don't want to talk too much about it. Like I said, I'm kind of over it. Like, we're talking about it, obviously, to, you know, come out with the video or whatever, but I'm honestly over it. I want November 19th to just come. I said on the last spot, I want November 19th to come so y'all could just like stop, like just get off the internet and just go play the game. That's what I want y'all to do. That's exactly what I want y'all to do. So I don't know, man. I don't know. And then the final thing here, and this was, I'm like, bro, you are a level 100 corporate vendor. It's funny because he got community noted, but this person, I'm not going to read everything that he said, but the gist of it was this random person who apparently is clearly pro GTA 6 and pro Rockstar. It's like your no BS source of GTA 6, Red Dead, and Max Payne news and content. It's so many of these pages on X. So many of these pages. I'm like, again, y'all have nothing better to do, man. I get it. GTA 6 is your savior. Rockstar has never done anything wrong, but this person was like, yeah, man, I did an investigation on Cyberleek. I did an investigation on them, and I have emailed all of the evidence to Take-Two and the Rockstar legal team. Ugh, give me my gold star. I'm like, who are you? Who are you? You're doing the work for them? You're doing the work for Take-Two? What is that going to get you? Where is that going to get you? He's like, as much as I wanted and love to actually reveal who we're dealing with here, full identity and all, I believe it'll be doxing. It's going to be doxing, since the way I got to this guy was a mix of blah, 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 and some people familiar with the matter. I don't want anyone to get in trouble. So for now, I'll leave the personal details of how I obtained this information. I'm like, bro, you doing way too much. You're doing way too much. Like, I don't know who needs to hear this. Clearly you do, but you gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop, bro. This is not your life. Your life should not be one video game or one corporation or one franchise. You're doing the work for them or claiming that you are. What do you get out of this? Again, one of those people who are just like, man, you ruin this stuff for me, man. What do you think is gonna happen? I mean, I think at this point we're past that, because I think that the first time in 2022, yeah, it did delay the game a little bit, but this time we only got a few months, man. I don't think the game is going to get delayed anymore. Now, if this Cyberleek person actually did get to the point where the game got delayed anymore, then all right, man, I'll take it back. I'll take everything I said back, and y'all have every right to be upset. Y'all have every right to be upset then. But I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, because I think what happened is minor. I think, honestly, what Cyberleek showed was minor. Now, could they show more? Yeah. Now, if they start showing the story, all right, man, now we going to have a different conversation. If they start showing the story and start doing those spoilers, we're going to have a different conversation, okay? But until then, what they're showing is, honestly, in my opinion, pretty harmless. Obviously, to Rockstar and Take-Two, they don't feel that way, and I mean, rightfully so. But as a consumer, you should just chalk it up as this is a nothing burger for now. You should chalk it up as being a nothing burger for now, honestly, and stop being a bender for Rockstar and Take-Two. So every other pod is along with, did you see the conversation? You've been hitting the skip. Oh, damn, you see me hit the skip button. My bad, y'all. Yeah, like we are exhausted. So that man JG got the nose job. Oh yeah, we got a new nose around here. So yeah, so like I said, if that starts to happen, then I would be upset, because I don't want to get that so spoiled. So but more news on GTA before we move on. Xbox said that it's helping Rockstar protect their IP after GTA 6 leaks. Xbox CTO, which again, he shouldn't be trusted after what happened with them almost a month ago, but he said that the company is supporting Take-Two and Rockstar Games as they work to protect the creative works and IP. So he said this on Twitter. Apparently this person been talking a lot on Twitter. So although GTA 6 will not explicitly mention the support for Rockstar was evident, he said, we're working closely with Take-Two and Rockstar Games and to support efforts to protect creative works and intellectual property. So that's what they said. So just one statement. And then finally, Take-Two's GTA 6 leakers now have subpoenas, even though they still have not officially served any entity yet. But this one was interesting because they in the subpoena, they name dropped a popular content creator, an Australian content creator named Dark Viper AU. So I don't think I've heard of this person, but they said the GTA 6 gameplay leaks are getting out of hand, with the alleged leaker coming up with something new each day, and also suggesting they have an early build of the game. So in response, Take-Two has subpoenaed both Microsoft and Discord to identify the leaker. However, it appears that a well-known GTA creator has been mentioned in the situation. So it's interesting. Dark Viper AU got mentioned. So they said that they're investigating user accounts who interacted with the leaker in a Discord server. Okay, so that makes sense. So they're saying that this person interacted with Cyberleek. Okay, among the accounts mentioned in Dark Viper AU, the creator has addressed the situation on X. He said later post mentioned that the new subpoenas and that he has been named. He goes to clarify that he doesn't know anything about the leaks that the server mentioned is not his editor's Discord, and that no clips of the leaks have been shared in either of those Discords. The creator also references a situation where he called out the leaker for not being able to drive. And suddenly Cyberleek can't drive started appearing in the recent leaks. Dark Viper AU also stated that the leaker may have visited his Discord, but he isn't sure and is very confused about the situation. So yeah, he about to hella say it ain't me. Of course you go say it ain't you. Of course. So the creator also stated that Rockstar has not emailed him yet and feels that if they thought he knew something, they would have reached out to him. Maybe, but maybe not. Maybe, but maybe not. So this is interesting that someone actually got named. They're like, we found in some Discord log that the alleged entity that we are tracking has been in your Discord and may have been speaking to you. So we'll see if that goes anywhere. But that's interesting. They've also technically named somebody in this subpoena. But obviously Take-Two is taking the highest legal route that they can take. I also saw a video earlier by Jason Schreier. Shout out to Jason Schreier, man. He's really been cooking on YouTube. I love it. He one take Schreier is what they call him. One take Schreier. But I watched a video today where he said he actually spoke to Rockstar employees about what's going on, and obviously they're upset. And clearly he has close ties to them, some of the employees, that he can just speak to them directly. But again, he didn't really say anything that was like new. He also believes that it's not really going to ruin the Netflix thing. He also mentioned, because I saw some earlier articles that were saying that Take-Two lost like $2 billion because of the leaks. He said that he thinks that's false. He was like, it's just stocks. They go up and down. So yeah, they may have lost money for a moment, but the stock price went right back up. So it's pretty much a nothing burger to say that, hey, they lost money because of the leaks. Because again, stocks are volatile. So that's a nothing burger. So, you know, I'm not even going to really talk about that or hang on to that, because again, it's stocks. So that was the other thing though, but he didn't really say anything that was like really noteworthy on that video. But I thought I at least mention it, that he said that he did speak to them, and obviously they're upset and are trying to vigorously find the leaker. They're on a manhunt right now. Take-Two is on a manhunt to try to find Cyberleek. So we'll see as this story continues to develop. We'll see if eventually Cyberleek gets found and if they go to jail, because Rockstar has obviously dealt with this before, as I mentioned, in 2022, 2023. They got their servers hacked, and we started seeing some like very like early alpha footage. It's funny because even back then, people were not super excited, but people were definitely not acting how they're acting now with Cyberleek. And I'm really thinking like, damn, is it truly because of the crypto that he's showing in all these clips that really have y'all mad and be like, they're not for the people? Or is it because like we actually have a date and we know that it's close, and like y'all are secretly not wanting anything to happen, aka another delay because of the leaks that are coming out? So I don't know what people are truly feeling, but all I know is a lot of y'all have a lot of corporate de-sucking going on, a lot of bending over. And y'all really need to like start watching what you're saying, because again, it's a lot of corporate talk. You do not need to fight for your $1 billion organization. They do not care about you. They only see you as a dollar bill. So just keep that in mind. Obviously, Sony has shown you that they do not care about you. You're only a dollar bill. Take-Two feels the exact same way. All these corporations feel the exact same way. You do not need to defend them. You do not need to feel like you need to defend them. You need to understand that you as a consumer have the power. Okay, you as a consumer have the power, and you can decide whether a corporation ends up making money or not. All right, so that's that. Other news, man, very sad. Yeah, I didn't want to. Like, why, man? Why do we have to get to this point where another game is dying? Another game is dying. Okay? And I find this even more upsetting because 2XKO just was a part of the CEO tournament, the CEO FGC tournament. And Riot Games has a lot of money. They have a lot of money. I mean, even so to the point where Ethos was like, man, like they could do their own tournaments. They could have big prize pools. Like Ethos was like super gung ho on 2SKO, like being able to make a splash in the FGC realm. But now we're at this point where 2SKO, I remember they came out with this name. Nobody liked the name. They kind of stumbled out the gate in early access, and then they laid people off. They laid like half the staff off, and now we're here. Well, actually, no. Then it had a resurgence. It had a random resurgence where people started playing again. And I thought, all right, I was like, okay, after that, I think it's going to do fine. You had Sonic Fox, literally the biggest fighting game person right now, was actively playing your game. How did y'all fumble? I don't get how y'all fumble, bro. I don't get how y'all fumble, honestly, because I liked watching 2SKO. Again, it was one of those tag fighters. I love tag fighters. I love watching high level tag fighter action. So I just don't know. I honestly don't know how we got to this point so suddenly. I saw it and was like, damn, man. Like, y'all have the roster. You have your own universe. Y'all could have just kept coming out with characters. Y'all would have been on par with Marvel. And that's literally what Ethos was arguing about. He like, man, I don't know about Token, man. Like I think 2SKO gonna do really well, and we'll see what happens when Token comes out. Token, again, because of the Marvel IP, I mean, let's keep it a buck, because the Marvel IP alone is gonna end up surviving for a little bit. And out of all the new fighting games that came out this year, I thought that Invincible was gonna be the one that was gonna go first. Well, actually, before that, I thought that Avatar wasn't going to even gain these things, but Avatar ended up being the one that survived, and Invincible is not. Nobody even talking about Invincible. Avatar had a really good tournament in CEO, and now that game looks like it's going to survive because that game has a pretty good fan base. So I don't know, man. I definitely, I mean, it wouldn't on my bingo card that 2SKO is going to be the one to go. So that's crazy, man. That's crazy. But the full statement here said, with the heavy heart, the Play 2SKO team shares an update about the future. They said active development will end in December. The final content patch goes live in October. Servers stay online, which is good. That's good. At least the servers are going to stay online. In-game purchases made before August 20th will be refunded. So that's good. At least you're going to give people their money back. Let me see if there's anything here. So the past few months, we've been monitoring 2SKO's trajectory closely, and what we've seen is painting a clear, consistent picture. While a lot of you jumped in to try the game, there's an incredible community that plays every day. We haven't seen enough players stick with the game to get a path towards sustainability. Servers will remain on beyond 2026, and 2SKO will be playable on all platforms throughout the rest of 2026. We'll be introducing content, feature improvements, and 2 new champions. So we're only getting 2 more. He said the roster was too small, but they had the potential though to expand that roster. What I'm saying, they have so many characters. I don't know if the FGC was just like impatient or what, but the roster really had no limit to how many characters they could put out there. So I don't know, man. I don't know what the true issue was. Maybe they just needed to wait until they had a bigger roster, like at launch or something. I don't know. They said, so Lux and Samir are going to come with the intent to develop our final bug fix patch in December of this year. After that, servers will remain on to support online play. Offline play is unaffected. We'll give advance notice if any of that changes. So again, at least a good thing is, even though development and support will stop, technically, if people still want to play 2SKO, they can. So at least that's a positive sign. They said they're unlocking all champions, and they're also bundling most cosmetic items and refunding all money spent in 2SKO on or before August 20th. Any content owned is yours to keep. Avatar and player profile items will be unlockable for credits. This will happen in patch 131. And so our goal right now is to do right by the players who have invested in us so far and want to continue playing 2SKO, as well as the rioters who have poured everything into delivering on this dream. They got a lot here. So our dream was to build a game the fighting game community will love, to play with their friends. We want to be respectful of the incredible games that came before ours and bring Riot's take on live service to a new set of hungry players. Our approach was to tackle some of the issues that we knew the FGC struggled with by building more reliable netcode, making the rank grind less lonely, committing to more frequent game updates, and more. While the genre progressed significantly in the last 10 or so years, we believe 2X delivered on many of those promises. On the business side, we hope that by making the game free, we can make the genre more accessible and discoverable to new players, and that they can fall in love with fighting games in the same way that we did. Ideally, this would have happened over time, starting with earning the trust of lots of core fighting game players and growing into a larger fan base when more features and content came online. We also went into this project knowing from the start that free-to-play comes with the minimum player requirement to support these ambitions. So they're blaming a lot of their business decisions on making this game free-to-play. I don't like that, but from a business standpoint, again, it makes sense. I just don't like there was like, oh, we have to sustain a player base in order to like justify our decision by making this free. They could have like charged $20, $30, $40 or something. I think that people would have bought it, honestly. But that's just me. I'm not the one making the business decisions, so it is what it is on that one. So early on, we saw pockets of FGC fully embrace 2SKO, and we got proof that this approach was working at a small scale. Players pushed the game to a limit to high-level play. They brought their non-fighting game friends to play with them. Duo became a great way to match buddies together. Tournament organizer added the game to their weekly lineups, and players told us they just wanted more. So going back to what you said, Sly, champs, events, features, etc. While this is exactly what we wanted to see, it just wasn't happening enough. Even within the genre, diehard tag fighter players love 2SKO, but most other fighting game players struggle to find reasons to stick with the game. Interesting. That's an interesting last sentence there. All right, why end active development? We evaluated the game's overall performance, not just revenue, but retention, new players, and engagement through 2026. We saw positive player reaction through the releases of Acolyte, Cinder, Thresh, Decline, a PvE, and some amazing competitive events throughout the year. Even in these highlight moments, however, we saw no meaningful sustained change in 2SKO's trajectory. Only a fraction of what it would take to trend towards sustainability. Over time, it became clear it would be impossible for us to continue actively developing the game as we are today. In recent months, the team has continued to take bold swings while fully aware of 2SKO's challenges, but to attempt another year hoping for a way forward would have been an irresponsible choice for players and the dev team. To be super clear, we would have continued active development if we saw any viable future, but 2SKO costs us substantially more to operate than it brings in, which is again the same thing that ultimately Destiny ran into. They said it costs more to operate and keep these games going than it will cost to just cut it. So that's the unfortunate reality of live service games. The unfortunate reality of live service games, which is why I don't want to see a whole bunch of live service games. I don't want to see a whole bunch of live service games. Saying engagement has stayed relatively flat despite our larger updates. So when we looked at all the options available, we concluded that finishing the rest of our work in progress content and still setting active development was the best route forward. Excuse me, y'all. For players and rioters. So 2SKO remains online and playable. We're not going anywhere yet. We still got more content to show you throughout the end of the year. We are truly grateful to everyone who's been a part of 2SKO journey so far. So that's where we're at, man. It's sad, but I wanted 2SKO to actually make some moves and make some wave within the FGC, but unfortunately, man, the FGC is fickle. I've told y'all that before. The FGC is very fickle. Despite how much they complain about everything, the big boys are still only going to play like what once was the big three, but Street Fighter, Tekken, and what once was Mortal Kombat. That's all that they're going to play. Okay. Guilty Gear still has a pretty strong fan base, but now we'll see if Guilty Gear competes with Token. I don't know, because again, is that there's both arcs is So I don't know what's gonna happen with that, but Token's gonna end up eating into it's probably. I would really say like at this point, Token's probably gonna be the number 3. Token's probably going to be the number 3 there, regardless of, Sonic Fox winning it all and then complaining about it, which was pretty hilarious. But I think it's probably going to be Street Fighter, Tekken, and then Token going forward unless something else comes. Because I don't think Avatar could really, just from a pure number standpoint, I don't think Avatar could eat into that. But there's a chance Avatar could be like 5. Avatar could be like number 5, possibly. So it depends. We'll see how the community does with that. But other than that, yeah, it's gonna be Street Fighter, Tekken, Token, Guilty Gear, and then Avatar or like Blaze Blue, King of Fighters maybe. Even though King of Fighter kind of went, that ended up kind of dropping the threshold after like that first year. So like I said, it's just fickle, man. Like it's fickle. So we're just going to see the same games, man. We're going to see the same games, the same franchises. Regardless, they're going to keep complaining, but then they're going to still play the same thing because they've been playing it for so long. We're playing these franchises for so long, they can't get away from it. And then unfortunately, that's where the money is. Okay, especially Street Fighter. So, it is what it is on that. It is what it is. All right. More news here, which again kind of pissed me off, and I was like, again, reading comprehensions through the gutter for so many people on Twitter, I swear. But there was another report that came out from Circana, and they said that physical video games this month hit an all-time low of $85 million in the US. Okay, $85 million in the US. And I'm like, again, what is this doing for me, like the average consumer? I don't think that we should be, 1, making articles about this, but 2, I don't think that we should be privy to all this news. Because what is this doing? All this is doing is just justifying to Sony that they're making the right decision, which I don't think that they are. I don't think they are making the right decision here. Hey, shout out to the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. You said because Marvel has a casual appeal, you don't think it's going to last as long as other fighting games at FGC. Yeah, I know that the auto combos really got people, like the hardcore people, kind of pissed off at that. We'll see though. But like I said, what else are you gonna pick at this point? Because Mortal Kombat's gone. We don't know if we're gonna get an Injustice. So like NRS is pretty much at a bad state right now, and the NRS scene is dead until another one of those games comes. So I mean, you had freaking Ninja Killer move over to Tekken because he can't play NRS games anymore. Nobody play Mortal Kombat. So what are they going to do? So it's kind of, I mean, you can't just have Street Fighter and Tekken. That's not going to do anything for you. So you got to have some other games that people are going to play. So like I said, Token could easily just slide into that number 3. It's going to last a little bit. It's going to last a little bit. Not as long as obviously Street Fighter and Tekken, but it's going to last a little bit just because there's nothing else to play. So like I said, I don't think they're going to get on Avatar like that. I don't think the FGC is going to embrace Avatar. And Guilty Gear is another one of those like super niche genres, so not a lot of people play that either. So I don't know, man. Virtual Fighter is one of the hardest fighters ever. They're not going to play it. FGC people are not going to play it. They're not going to play it, unfortunately. Virtual Fighter looks good, but it is one of the hardest fighters and most technical fighters that there is. Virtual Fighter has never gotten that high as far as like FGC tourney play. Virtual Fighter has obviously had presence in these tourneys, but it has never gotten up there. People don't play Virtual Fighter. We'll see if things change with this one, but I doubt it. But again, going back to this article, says Circana did a video game report for 2026, and they said that last month, now at this point, last month, they said physical software for PlayStation hardware accounted for 32% of the total US consumer spending on new physical games. Game mentioned for Nintendo platform make up 63%. Shout out to Nintendo, man. Shout out to Nintendo, because the people that are still like actively on that platform, a lot of them are getting things physical. I think that's just a culture of Nintendo. Nintendo has still fully embraced physical, even though obviously especially with the Switch 2, some of those games aren't physical. They're the game keys, but even still, like, they still have physical cartridges or whatever, right? So Nintendo is still doing the good fight, and they still are doing their own things. Shout out to them. But again, the other platforms, we've been all conditioned to get digital, and that's why the numbers are going to continue going down unless people again switch up their mindset and start intentionally getting things physical to try to again combat what we're seeing in these numbers. That's why I said Circana is the feds, because I'm like, why? Like, I get this is what y'all do. I get y'all just report the numbers, but look at what people are doing with your numbers. Look at what people are doing with your numbers, man. Like, this shouldn't be something that's like, oh man, you see, like, no, I don't want to do that, man. Said data comes hot on the heels of Sony's shock announcement that it will end production physical disc, blah blah blah. Yep. So however, gamers have called on Sony to U-turn on its decision. Yep. So nice. They said July was a particularly bad month for video game and hardware sales in the US. Total US video game spending dropped 10% year on year. I mean, but that's total though. That's total. Total US video game spending dropped 10% year on year, with hardware spending plummeting 29% off the back of a tough comparison with the launch of Nintendo Switch 2, as well as price rises for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. Yeah, so they're saying that, yeah, people aren't buying consoles as much anymore because, yeah, you raise the prices on every damn thing. And at this point, everybody should have these consoles. These consoles outside of the Switch 2 are 6 years in, they're 6 years into their life cycle. So yeah, you should have these consoles by now. And if you don't, and you're still trying to get one, well, you're screwed. Cause now you gotta pay the premium price. You gotta pay the inflation price. So yeah, I mean, people aren't buying the console. Duh. Piscatella said their hardware spending fell to a low 282 million, not seen since July 2020, which again was COVID. 163 million when pandemic, and you couldn't get it anyways. So that makes sense. Subscription spending was the only category showing growth in July versus a year ago. So y'all are buying more subscriptions, is what they're saying. It's only 6%, but y'all are doing it. Why? Why y'all getting more subscriptions? Hello? Okay. The market comparables continue to be impacted by record-setting June 2025 launch of the Nintendo Switch 2. However, the challenges extend far beyond simple cyclicality. Higher hardware prices driven by the RAM and component prices have significantly impacted selling rates of both the PS5 and the Xbox, with the price hike for Nintendo Switch 2 hardware coming September 1st. Total hardware unit sales fell 39% versus July 2025, while the average selling price of a new unit of a video game hardware jumped by 16% to $542. Unit sales were down on all console platforms when compared to a year ago. PS5 unit sales fell 6% versus July of 2025, while Xbox Series dropped 18%, and the Switch declined by 51%. Damn, Switch declined by 51%. Shit. With 14 months in the market, Nintendo Switch 2 is 11% ahead of the all-time aligned sales pace of the original Nintendo Switch. How this last remains to be seen. We'll see. Shout out to KP for the follow. Thank you. So I mean, and damn, they saying a poor month all around. Call of Duty Black Ops 2 was projected as the best-selling game of July in dollar sales. Oh my freaking god, bro. Oh my god. Black Ops 2, this old ass port, ended up being the best-selling game of July in the US. Oh boy, I swear, bro, we are so cooked. We are so freaking cooked, man. So freaking cooked. Call of Duty Black Ops, the original Black Ops, was fifth overall. Assassin's Creed Black Flag was third, and Halo, the PS5 version, was sixth, and Splatoon Raiders was seventh. Boy, oh boy. See, and this is again, man. These are the same people The people that bought these games and made Black Ops 2 the best-selling game of the line are the same people that are being pro-corporation right now. It's the same people that are saying, man, just get my GTA, man. I don't care, man. It could be the exact same thing as 5. It could be the exact same thing as 5, and I'm gonna buy it, man. Just go to GTA, man. Just give it to me. Just give it to me, dog. I'm gonna bend over. Just give it to me. That's all they doing, bro. Again, you blame them all you want, man. Blame the casual gamers all you want. We gotta find a way to get to them, bro. We gotta find a way to get to them. But you on the internet being a casual gamer. You on the internet being a casual gamer, arguing with me about stuff you don't even know what you're talking about. Oh man. All right, we got two more things. Arc Raiders. Haven't heard that game in a while. Arc Raiders canceled their expedition until early 2027. Embark Studios has confirmed that the upcoming fifth expansion for Arc Raiders will be the game's last until early 2027, as the developer prepares to overhaul the system following persistent complaints from the community. So they are trying to do something to get their player base back. And they said, hey, y'all getting his last expedition of 2026. And y'all ain't getting anything else until 2027, man. Y'all better hold on tight. So they about to do an overhaul. I wonder what this overhaul is going to be. Let's see if they say it. Let's see. The new expedition window will open on September 8th and remain available until the 29th, giving players 3 weeks to gather necessary resources and prepare their caravan for the wipe. As always, expeditions are entirely optional and are primarily aimed at players who have invested significant time into the extraction shooter. Completing an expedition resets your Raider's progress, leaving you with the empty stash and returning your character to level 1. In exchange, players can earn a host of upgrades as well as more skill points and stash space. Despite these incentives, expeditions have remained a point of contention within the community. Players have criticized everything from the limited departure windows to the reward structure, while accessibility has still been highlighted as a problem for newer players who may struggle to participate. Embark has now acknowledged those concerns, saying that bigger changes are required to make expeditions a more worthwhile part of Arc Raiders. As a result, the fifth expedition will be the last until 2027, while the system is expected to return with significant improvements. Exactly when the revamped expedition will arrive remains unclear, although they can potentially return alongside the game's next major update after Frozen Trail. Is anybody still playing Arc Raiders in the chat? Nice, I ain't heard y'all talk about that game in a minute. Man. The lengthy absence does raise questions about how Embark continues to keep its most dedicated players engaged in the meantime. Wiping progression is a fundamental part of the many extraction shooters, giving players a reason to repeatedly rebuild their character and stashes. Without expeditions, there could be concerns surrounding progression becoming stagnant or hardcore players running out of meaningful goals. So we'll see if whatever they have up their sleeve can bring back their loyal player base, because Arc Raiders was like the hottest thing, man. It was like the hottest thing in 2025, even so much that the leader of the Ball and Gun Gamers wanted to see Arc Raiders win Game of the Year. Crazy. Last bit of news, again, Casual Gamer did it again, or the people who have been capping on the internet, whether you're a casual gamer or not. Once again, cap. Where my thing at?
Oh God.
Y'all don't say 10 toes down on nothing.
I'm 10 toes the fuck down, nigga. Fuck, I ain't gonna go fucking where, nigga.
Bitch, that's a mistake.
And so somebody lying again. We talked about Wolverine earlier. Y'all was in there complaining about what y'all saw from the latest footage of Wolverine, but guess what? Wolverine has gone gold. What do you have to say about that? Excellent. And I'm not even hating on Wolverine. I'm not hating on Wolverine at all. I want to play the game. But my expectations are not that, oh man, Wolverine's gonna push the needle. Again, y'all have these weird expectations, whether it's y'all want to see something new, y'all want to see something innovative, or if y'all fine with the same old stuff. And Wolverine should have told y'all from the beginning that it was going to be some of the same old stuff. Okay, I'm just looking to see if the story is fire, and I want to see if the gameplay is fire when I actually get my hands on it. That's what I want to see. So In any case, y'all buying the game, y'all pre-ordering the game, it going gold. So it's crazy, man. Saying Insomniac Games announced to X that Wolverine's going gold today. The announcement post contains a short video of Logan popping golden claws. The developers have also confirmed that players will be able to unlock and equip gold claws in the game. It's cool, I guess. For those unaware, when the game goes gold, it means that developers have reached a build ready for release. So they are ready. They are ready. So that's good. That's good. That's good. So we're at the almost at the finish line with Wolverine, man. Almost at the finish line with Wolverine.